Resident Evil, Resident Evil 9, RE9, Resident Evil Requiem. It has been out for a solid week or so, and just to cut to the chase, this has to be the best RE ever. That's the end of the video. But seriously, if it's not the best, it's definitely top 10 to top 5. I've been obsessed with this game since it came out. I know me saying this is the best Resident Evil game cuts everything I said about Resident Evil 8. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. But this game blew everything out of the water. The standards could have not been set as high as this game set it. In the next game, with Chris and Leon, it's going to be. Before I go any further, let us talk about this game in a whole. This is why Resident Evil Requiem is the best Resident Evil game ever. Spoiler warning, we will be talking about the story, the scenery, the voice acting, the whole shebang. So if you haven't played or seen anything and want to save yourself, you have been warned for spoilers. Our main character, or one of them, is Grace Ashcroft, an FBI officer that has been studying these strange deaths. One thing all these deaths have connected with each other is these black blotches on their skin. As Grace, we get assigned to explore a hotel building for another death, but we also find out this is where Grace's mother died. What? I know. And part of us sees Grace and goes, get over it, that was ages ago. Your mom is in a better place. We make our way to Renwood, finding the hotel and entering it, searching the hotel up and down. We make our way to a room and find a bunch of pictures of Grace on the bed. And this is when we go into our first flashback. The year is 2018 and we are introduced to Grace's mom, Alyssa. After a strange call and a power outage, Alyssa says, "They're coming." Which is something you just don't say and never explain. Our helpful hotel worker gets murdered and we killed the murderer. Well, Alyssa did, but Grace is there, so time to celebrate. Grace's mother dies so tragically, and then it connects. Why would they send her back here to the most tragic spot ever? Now, out of the flashback, we remember Alyssa put a folder behind a painting. We grab it, and the police officer that was outside that helped us get inside the hotel is standing right there. He seems a little strange. Turns out, he is infected. And this beginning scene alone shows off the masterpiece of the horror in this game. We are like 20 minutes deep, and this is what we are dealing with. We get rid of the officer throwing him out a window, and we head up to a room with a strange man, and he kind of looks like the dude that Alyssa killed all those years ago in the flashback. What a coincidence. He ends up yapping, and he gets up and he chokes Grace and kidnaps Grace. This beginning whole part, Leon is just aura farming in his sponsored brand Porsche. We find out big tall weirdo that stole and kidnapped Grace is Victor Gideon, a former T-virus researcher for Umbrella Corporation. As Leon is making his way to find out about the missing officer, we spot Grace being hauled off by Shaquille O'Neal, and he decides to make a move. After some strange zombie making needles like it's downtown Detroit hits a couple of citizens, we fight some zombies, and at the ripe age of 51, Leon is doing things a 20-year-old Chud admires. We also get introduced to the Requiem. The Requiem is a huge, humongous revolver that is also the name of the game. I know, clap. After killing the zombies that Victor set out for us, we lose sight of Victor and Grace, and we make our way to the Road Hill Care Center where we think he'll be. We cut back to Grace, and she's tied up, but that won't stop a powerful blonde woman like her. As we unstrap ourselves and explore more of this little area we are in, we stumble across this big, creepy thing. We don't exactly know what it is. It is just really tall and really scary. This thing plays a big role into our story and will stay in most of Grace's story for hours into it. And to be honest, this thing jump scared me more than anything in the game. As we go on through the game, Grace plays a role of the horror in the game, and Leon plays the action parts of the game. We sneak around this thing to collect batteries to open a gate that leads us to freedom into the care center. One thing to know about this big, creepy, weird thing is it does not like light. It will burn in it. We open up the gate and this thing still grabs us, even hitting the light and burn a little bit, throwing us around and dragging us away, leaving us on a cliffhanger. Leon makes his way to the care center, being led in by one of the nurses and sat in a waiting room. Victor knows that Leon is there by cameras, and he shoots a couple more of his little needle things to turn some innocent people into zombies. As we're sitting there and watching this woman about to get mauled, we could have saved her. He had all the time in the world to save her, but he just sat there. We killed the zombies that were set out for us with a dope-ass chainsaw and this little tomahawk Leon has on his person at all times. We get to the main part of the care center and we see Grace get pulled away by the big weird monster thingy. Leon ends up killing the monster, saving her, and as Leon and Grace are talking, the gate closes on both of them. Leon, being the smart man, hands this 5'2" woman a gun, the Requiem, that's bigger than her left arm. Thank you, Leon. At the end of the hallway sits Victor. He ends up doing the same thing he did to Grace, chokes out Leon, and Leon passes out. As Grace, we explore the care center, and I am ashamed to say I spent way too much time here, but I also am a person who gets everything unlocked, gets every item on each room, each floor, and will run around the place 1,200 times to make sure I got it. But you know, there's some people out there that have it worse. We have to get 3 quartz to escape the center: a sun, a star, and a moon quartz. After getting the 2, we explore and find a little blind girl named Emily, for some reason trapped in a room, but we pay no mind to that. We use Emily to read Braille to get to the last quartz, but after Emily ends up unlocking and getting the quartz, the big weird thing that should have been dead comes back and steals Emily, leaving a big crater in the ground and leaving us no choice but to jump down and go save her. Victor trapped Leon and is just yapping while Leon is just mobbing him. Breaking free, we roundhouse kick Victor, chasing him, but he ends up escaping. We make our way out of the attic and to the care center again, but not after having to kill this big blister of a human being. We're going through the center, basically retracing everything we did with Grace. We find Victor's private office, and we also find out the woman in our ear is Sherry. Let's go. We love Sherry. Let's celebrate.
T-virus infection.
Yeah, so Leon and Sherry are infected with the T-virus. It sucks, and I just want to give my condolences. As Grace, we explored the underground of the center. Kind of weird to have a big weird cage system with a health center, but you know, I don't judge. We look past it. This part is somewhat tedious, but I did get jump scared multiple times. We have to get 3 power cylinders to open up all the cells and save Emily, but we have to use 1 to power on different sections, all because the power is out. While doing this, we also have to avoid the big scary thing. After getting the cylinders, we save Emily and take an elevator out of the basement, but bam! Different bam. The big creepy thing breaks the elevator, but we escape and are safe. We leave the center and are free to take the helicopter home. Not really. This guy needs the keys that are inside the building. This guy sends Grace into another underground area, but this time it's where a lot of these zombie things are made and produced. Victor sets off a self-destruct for the whole building to explode. We find the keys and we leave to the helicopter. That little self-destruct also causes a bunch of problems of unleashing so many zombies. They grab onto the helicopter and we crash. Leon sees, wait, hold up. As Leon sees this, we end up sniping zombies to help Grace and a hurt Emily. We go into this burning church and we do Leon stuff, and after killing the little horde of zombies in there, we escape the church. Grace and Emily are, you guessed it, in another bunker. Round of applause for this. Bunker, cave, underground systems. But this time, we have to open up this hatch, and it's the only way out. For this to happen, we have to restart the power, which means we have to restart 3 power wheels. Then bam, the hatch is opened, and the thing gets killed by the sun. But Emily ends up dying. Kind of. She's dead for a moment, then starts genuinely tweaking and turns into this big flesh baby. No, not that one, but close. Leon shows up and kills, quote unquote, Emily, leaving Grace overwhelmed and angered by this. She ends up handing Leon back the Requiem and leaves. We also see Leon slowly dying to a sickness of the T-virus, coughing up copious amounts of blood. As Grace is leaving, she runs into Zeno and Victor. And no, before you say it, this is not Wesker. This is never going to be Wesker. They head to Raccoon City, telling Grace basically her whole life is nothing, and her whole purpose was to be the final piece of building a new world. We are back in Raccoon City. The city is destroyed from the nuke, but in a way it's beautiful even with all the rundown buildings and the silence throughout the city. It's all beautiful until we have to fight a giant spider, open a gate by getting batteries, but having to deal with zombies that throw stuff, or turn into these blistered thingies. But after we get out, we have to set off C4 that's on a gate so we can leave. But we have to make a detonator and fix it. This prompts us to have to fight zombie BSA agents that shoot guns and set off mortar cannons hitting us. Some lore. BSAA was a corporation after Umbrella went under to stop bioweapons, or BOWs for short. The company became corrupt after they started using BOWs for their own personal use. BSAA was all over Raccoon City, so a lot of their posts are still up and about, and some of the bodies of the agents are riddled throughout the city. But this also means we are fighting a bunch of infected BSA agents. We ascend buildings that are slanted or just destroyed. We end up getting the detonator and blow open the gate. Then we have an epic road rage motorcycle scene. We end up at the RPD station. As we enter, Leon gets riddled with memories of his first day at the station.
Yeah. Welcome, Leon. Bet you had a kick-ass first day.
We stumble across a room where Zeno and Grace are talking. Zeno mentions Spencer's last virus, Elpis. Grace knows the password and can open it so they can start a new world, but deep down Grace does not know the password, even though Zeno says she does. Zeno brings up Emily and how there is so many others just like her. They were all copies of Grace, all just to get a password so they can open up Elpis, but none of the copies worked. A lot of them turned into monsters or just did not know the password and died. We enter a memory of one of the clones, showing how a lot of them turned bad and started killing the staff workers, but they're also bald, which I don't know why they're bald. We have to find a way to escape, leaving and going deeper into the facility until we make it to a room where the copy sees how she was born/made. Someone comes in, and right before she says anything, a needle gets shoved into her neck, making her to pass out. All the worker mentions is how she is showing symptoms, and they take her away. We are out of the memory, Grace is going through it, and Leon comes in to put a stop to all this. But Zeno brings out an old friend. Mr. X comes down from out of nowhere and chases us around the RPD until he disappears, just vanishes. We exit the RPD station to make our way to the orphanage, but we go through the gun shop where Leon has more memories, showing the dad and the girl from Resident Evil 2 and seeing how they both died, and the dad or the girl's skeleton is just still there in the rubble. We make it past the gun store and keep heading to the orphanage until Mr. X throws a missile at us. He tries to throw another one, but we shoot it just in time, and this sets Mr. X's clothes on fire, burning them off. Fun fact, tyrants or nemesis wear special clothing to limit their powers, but when the suit or the clothing tears or is destroyed, their powers are fully unleashed and they become really powerful, to say the least. I mean, it's in the name. And their mutant bodies just go off the rails. We end up killing Mr. X and finally hitting the orphanage. We climb on a train car that is hovering over thousands of feet. The amount of times Leon almost dies for a blonde white woman is crazy. This Leon situation is crazy. He has to be studied. He has snow bunny fever 24/7. After the train car falls, we ascend down the rope that we find, and guess what? We are going underground again. But this time, it's deep, like deep. While we're ascending down, we look around and there's a bunch of plants, a bunch of roots, a bunch of rough plants, who I hate, to be honest. It's not that bad. They are genuinely not that bad. I don't know why I hate them, but I'm glad it's not a big part of the scene, so it's fine. We burnt the plant up with no ease, and we make our way to the ARC facility. We are going deeper and deeper down into the earth. At this point, we are almost to the core of the earth, and this is all under an orphanage. We gotta figure out what's happening here and study the people that had and came up with these ideas. Leon makes his way to the ARC facility, and we explore a little bit. We hit this hallway that gave me crazy flashbacks. Find where Grace and Zeno is located. Zeno ends up knowing and sends some elite BSAA soldiers after to kill Leon, which these guys are no match for Leon.
Boy, here I go killing again.
Double kill. Triple kill. Overkill. Kill-tacular. Kill-trocity. Kill-em-jar. Sniper's spree. Killionaire.
We try to move on, but someone tries to stop us, who the only reasonable option or thought of who this person could be is Hunk. Unfortunately, he, quote-unquote, dies, and we reach Zeno and Grace, fighting Zeno for a quick second and taking Grace deeper underground. After Leon passes out and is in no shape to move on, we are Grace, and we have to clear a path so Leon can be able to move on and destroy Elpis. We gathered 2 crystal balls and fought a lot of lickers just to find a big screen with a floppy disk that looks somewhat familiar. Remember when Alyssa put that folder behind the painting? When we got the folder out, there was indeed a floppy disk inside the folder. Grace, somehow still has this in her pocket and it's not broken, which incredible. I don't know how. She puts the floppy disk into the computer and there's a bunch of videos spread out, and she watches one of them where it's her mom and Spencer talking, having an interview. Then she sees one with the title Grace. A few minutes earlier, when we cleared the path for Leon, us as Leon are now moving on, but Leon's infection with the T-virus is taking over, so we have to speed this up. Let's hurry this up. But even with his coughing of blood and blurry vision, we still are doing shit he shouldn't be doing. I know he's Leon, but let's be for real here. I will say the most annoying part of this section is the lickers. They can stun lock you in a corner if, you find your way into a corner. And to be honest, I'm not that smart, so the sections I was supposed to be quiet and sneak around, I did not do one bit. Yes, it made it harder, but I hate them anyways. Leon takes an elevator and tries to make his way back to Elpis, but is too sick to get back. We cut back to Grace, and she's watching the interview of Alyssa and Spencer, and Spencer gave Alyssa Grace, saying she needs a new home. After watching the interview, Grace finds Leon and helps him to destroy Elpis. Grace figures out the password. In this section, you have a choice to destroy or release Elpis. I ended up releasing Elpis. After releasing it, Zeno takes it and all his powers are gone. Spencer's thought was Elpis isn't a weapon. It's an antivirus carrying all viruses and bringing the world to total anarchy somehow, some way. Oh, and also Victor just shows back up. He's just there. We also find out he's a tyrant, ? He has a weird arm and chops Zeno's head off and stabs Grace, but Grace ends up giving Leon the Elpis, and he's cured. He's back to normal. Hooray! The platform breaks, and we are now face to face with Victor. We slap him around a bit, and he starts going Super Saiyan, but that doesn't really help him at the end of it. After the first stage of slapping him around and him tweaking out, he goes humongous mode, and we find out that he is a nemesis, not a tyrant. We end up destroying Victor, and we get one of the most raw Leon moments ever.
This time, you ain't getting back up.
Leon finds Grace, and the power cuts out in the area, and they both think they're going to die. At least they are dying together. But no, Alpha Team swoops down, and all they say is,
Leon S. Kennedy? Depends who's asking. Alpha, you read me, sir? Yeah, they're safe. I got them. Yes, sir. Mr. Kennedy, I have a message from Captain Redfield.
after saving Leon and Grace, Leon lets Sherry know that there is indeed a cure for her and she will be normal again. Grace is devastated and sad that Emily is dead, but Leon talks about how Emily might still be alive. And after some news reports and skipping of the credits and cutscenes, it is true. Somehow, someway, Emily is alive. The last bit of cutscenes, Grace is talking to Leon and mentions Emily being good and all that jolly stuff and asks how Sherry is and how's life going, but you know, she's working for the FBI, so she needs a report done. Then we sit back, look at our screen, and go, that's the end. Then another cutscene plays. It shows some BSAA soldiers grabbing something, which I can only assume is Victor's headgear. We don't know, but we'll find out in another 5 years. Anyways, that is the final scene. Then that is the end of the game. I did indeed went to the extras and watched some of the mocap videos.
The chosen one. Miss Ashcroft.
Now, since the story is done and out of the way, let's talk about the pros and cons of this beautiful game.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
This game blew me away, to be honest. Not a lot of cons with this game, but there is a thing or two that isn't really a complaint, but has to be noticed. Zeno is a cool character, and Zeno plays a decent role in the game. I'm just sad we didn't get to fight him. I know Leon has his little cutscene bits, but we didn't get an actual boss fight. He was so powerful and just dies. No big deal, you know, nothing. He just dies. But I guess it helps because Victor was the one true enemy throughout this whole game, so they kind of had to stable that. Next, there is no regular New Game Plus, which is kind of sad, but that's not really a game complaint. That's a, oh darn, I wanted that type of deal, so it doesn't really count. The pros. This whole game is beautiful, from sound to lighting to the art style of the game. The switching from Grace to Mr. Kennedy is seamless. They do it so well, it's just one big chef's kiss. The horror is great in this game, to say the least. It's top tier, it's top notch. I got jump scared so many times, and at times had me scared to even continue playing. And I haven't felt that way since playing Resident Evil 7 at the ripe age of 11. They use lighting to their advantage, and it works so well with the horror. The gunplay in the game was cool and amazing. The gun upgrades felt good, to say the least. I know there's no original merchant here, it's kind of just a box, but it's fine overall. And they also added a reward system where the more people you kill, going gun-ho or just killing to kill will reward you with points to spend to upgrade your gun, which is a mechanic I hope to see in the future. It's a pretty good one. The voice actors did an amazing job. This is probably what stood out to me the most throughout this game. The one problem I had with RE8 was the voice acting, mainly from Ethan. And going back and watching RE7, it's the same thing even there. Ethan was so flat with his lines, it was crazy, but Grace is the peak definition of emotion. Let's talk about Grace real quick. What a perfect main character. Because remember, this is Grace's game. Leon is just in it. Grace had some traumatic events happen, so witnessing her anxiety take over at times shows how bad those events messed with her and shows how human she is, to say the least. She stutters at times, she breathes heavy, and sometimes loses breath and needs to remind herself to breathe. Screams human all around. She isn't just an empty husk of a person. The death of her mom, the screams she gave are just chilling. Like, she has so much emotion, you can tell from every scream and the cracks in the scream. Every word spoken by her is so amazing and just shows how human she is. That's the biggest thing. Going from Ethan to her is just heavenly. 10 out of 10 main character. Leon is amazing as a side character in this game. I know he's also technically a main character, but he plays a big role. He's teetering between side character and main character. He's amazing in this game. He has his cheesy remarks.
Excuse me.
But also has gotten really serious throughout the years. Leon is a superhuman, but still has his moments of, hey, I do get hurt and I can't take on everything. Sherry herself in this game is just an amazing character. I mean, I love Sherry. She doesn't have a big, huge part, but at the same time plays a big role. She takes over the Ingrid spot from Resident Evil 4 with helping Leon with knowledge, news, and just being his eyes in the sky. We love Sherry so much. I love Sherry so much. Victor and Zeno are such a great enemy duo and are good villains when separate. No matter however they are, whether they're together or not together, great villains overall. Zeno plays the role of being strong, overpowered, and the head of all operation, and he uses Victor to get Elpis. But Victor knows, even if it hasn't been said, Victor deep down knows he's being used, and let's be for real, Victor knows his power and his strengths and knows that Zeno is nothing compared to him. Him being a nemesis is a cool turnaround and makes sense. His clothing item was his visor, and that controlled his mutation. Whenever he took off his goggles, he started growing his arm, and also his arm was cut where the sleeve of the coat should have been. Makes sense overall. Such an amazing villain. Top 5, to be honest. I know, crazy to say, but top 5 villains. Story was 10 out of 10. Everything made sense, and most importantly, went so smooth. I don't know if any other Resident Evil game has done this before with a good ending and bad ending, but there is a bad and good ending in this game. The good ending was what you saw with Leon escaping with them killing Victor. The bad ending, if you chose to destroy Elpis as Grace, there is no fight. You don't fight Victor. Leon and Zeno start fighting, but Leon being weak and overtaken by the T-virus, Leon gets killed by Zeno, and you just watch while this happens and leave, and bam, end of the game. Besides that, it's not a big puzzle game, more of a scavenger hunt type of style, but to be honest, I don't mind. Overall, this game is such an amazing installment to the franchise, and so much lore added, stuff to talk about with Alyssa, especially being a character from another Resident Evil game. Not a lot of people will know that, but she is from a different Resident Evil game. Also, with the ending of Alpha talking about Chris, there's a lot of ideas of what the next one will be, but this game just left us on a cliffhanger. We gotta figure out what Chris is up to. Predictions for the next game. We'll go into Chris's eyes, see what he was up to while Leon was doing his thing. I would say kind of like a copy of this game, where it's Chris and someone else. I was originally going to say Chris and Rose, but the timeline doesn't really connect. I mean, in this game, this takes place at the end of 2026, while Rose was born in 2021. So Chris and 5-year-old Rose in the next game. Anyways, if you haven't played it yet, this game is worth every doubloon. I love Resident Evil so much, and this is top 5 in my books, to say the least. I'll go through my list. Honorable mentions: Resident Evil 0 and Umbrella Chronicles. Number 5, Resident Evil 2 Remake. Round of applause. Number 4, Resident Evil 7. Round of applause. Number 3, Resident Evil 8. Round of applause. Number 2, Resident Evil 9. Round of applause. And number 1 spot, the winner, Resident Evil 4 OG. Big round of applause. Keep it going. Keep going. Let me know what your guys' top 5 Resident Evil games are. Let me know how y'all felt about the game. If you played it yet or haven't played it or seen videos on it, just let me know. I would like to know your opinions. Let me know about games or ideas for videos. I'm working on the next Pokemon video. Having problems with footage, plus got sick and life happens. So sorry it's taken forever. If you haven't seen the first one, go watch it please. Highly appreciated. I want to do stuff with clothing and music and movies. Gotta figure out the copyright for the movies and music to be able to do videos on those. After I figure that out, I have some ideas already brewing in the factory, but I am also into vintage clothing, so might talk about my small collection for those who know. Anyways, thank you for your support. Thank you for watching. Have an amazing day or night, and I will see y'all later.